Hi, I'm Ellis George, play Courtney Woods, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode 120 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. And apparently the Doctor does not read comic books, but apparently he does know a thing or two about Pokemon. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week. We'll go on the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Belvedere. This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City. This is Holly from Wisconsin. This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel, currently in South Bend, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
There's a dark cloud hanging over the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Should
we just get it out of the way?
Yeah.
I don't mean to say get it out of the way, like, I don't know. My brain's out of it, guys. Yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah, it is. It's been one of those days. So we're a little late in recording because of Christmas and all that, and people traveling like myself at the moment. I'm at my in-laws, and hopefully we're not interrupted by the household of people that are here at the moment. So our pushing back of the recording allowed for lots of 10 o'clock news to break before we
2016 has been working overtime in its final days.
It has.
And I'm shaking my fist. You can't see it. I'm shaking my fist at this calendar year.
Yeah, so we've got some 10 o'clock news that we have to get through, and I probably should have gotten Kleenex, but that's okay. I'll just use my sleeve if I have to. In no particular order other than the order that they're written down. We have the passing of George Michael, who was a pop icon. You know, if you listen to pop music in the 80s and 90s, he was the soundtrack, of your radio. So, I mean, Wham, and then his solo career. He hasn't done much in the way of new music in the last few years, but he was still active and doing other stuff, and he passed away. The news broke on Christmas, so of all things.
Did he actually pass away on Christmas, or
I don't know. The details surrounding his passing are very, very minimal at the moment.
The last report I heard was his partner had found him Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but I loved his music. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Faith album still. I've listened to it on repeat. So.
And then Listen Without Prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom 90 remix.
Yep. So, he will be missed, but his music shall live on. So him and Bowie are probably having a nice reunion, though.
Yep.
Up there in rock and roll heaven. So.
Ben and Freddie.
Yeah. That is a concert I would like to be privy to.
Yes.
But not considering how I would have to be privy to it. But
hey, someday we'll be there.
Yep. Yep. I'm like, I want a front row seat. Also, a name maybe not as well known if you're not a big fan of Disney, and especially the Disney parks, but Charlie Ridgway passed away. He was a Disney legend. He was there almost from the beginning. He worked alongside Walt and did a lot as far as promotional ideas and things for the characters. Big Bird, for Donald Duck's 50th birthday, I think. They had Donald Duck be present at the hatching of some baby ducks, and therefore they imprinted on Donald and then would follow him around. And then they got to ride in the float for Donald's birthday wearing little party hats. It was just stuff like that. Charlie Ridgway, he just came up with a lot of fun ideas, things that were unique that only really Disney could do. But he's wasn't a Disney legend in the last few years, which is one of the highest honors you can get, short of getting a window on Main Street, which he actually has that too. He has his name immortalized in one of the windows on Main Street at Disney. So, yeah, so the big loss for the Disney community. But he was rather old, so he lived a very long and full life, as far as things are concerned, which is good. So.
That always kind of takes the sting out of time, and did a lot of things, and when it's your time, I guess. So
yeah, no matter how old you are. So, but yeah, I knew who he was when the news broke, and of course all my friends that were Disney park fanatics, recognize the name. So, but if you're not into the Disney parks, maybe the name isn't recognizable, but look into the history of the Disney parks and his name will pop up quite a bit. So yeah, he's up there with Walt and Roy Disney and some of those other names. So
cool.
I'm stalling. Can you tell I'm stalling?
Yeah, I'm okay with you stalling. I'm really fine with it.
I
really don't have to talk about this at all.
I really do not want to talk about this one. You tear off the Band-Aid. No. Okay, unless you've been living under a rock.
Or if you're in denial like me still.
Or if you're in denial like the rest of us, you probably saw the news 2 days before Christmas. Carrie Fisher suffered a cardiac arrest, a severe heart attack, while on a flight from London to Los Angeles. She was taken to the hospital. She was in critical condition. The following day, her brother and mother and daughter and everyone was saying she's stable. Continue to give her good vibes and thoughts and all that, but they said she's stable, and we were like, okay, good, we dodged a bullet there. Apparently not, because Carrie Fisher passed away this morning. So we have lost Princess Leia.
And I went and saw Rogue One again last night.
I did too.
And I saw it just this afternoon.
Yeah.
And, I'm just like, oh, yay, there she is. And it's A New Hope. And love this movie. It's so great. And, and then, today I'm working. And, I work writing about news and stuff all day. And Rachel posted in our Facebook group. And she's like, not again. I'm like, what happened? And she saw the news, and I was mostly done with my work for the day, for the most part. And I just, I wrote a quick little post about it for work, about Carrie Fisher, and I just was like, I'm sorry, guys, I can't say anything more. I mean, this just, I can't, maybe I'll be able to process it more as the day goes on. That was a good 7 or 8 hours ago, and I haven't processed it properly yet.
No.
I even turned on Empire Strikes Back to watch while I was working, and I'm still just like, nope. I'm not okay with any of this. Just no.
No. I mean, as far as the fandoms are concerned, Star Wars is it's not my fandom, it's Chauncey's fandom actually, but I understand the significance of the fandom and the importance of these movies, and not just the movies. I mean, Princess Leia, and even in Episode 7 as General Organa, she's strong. She gets into situations, people joke about, the slave Leia and the gold bikini and all that, and
well, even she would make jokes about it, and she's just
yeah.
like, well, what do you tell your kid? What do you tell your kids? Well, you tell them that a giant slug put me in that thing, and I choked him to death.
Exactly.
And then I took it and I changed into something better.
Exactly.
And it's just like that's the kind of that was her personality.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how she was.
Yeah, and I think that's what's makes it harder, is we've lost her as Princess Leia, this iconic character from this iconic franchise, but her as a person, she was flawed, very open about, the things that she did in her youth, which, were very dumb, drugs and alcohol, and the failed relationships, the affair with Harrison Ford while filming Star Wars. But she owned up to her faults. She suffered from mental illness.
And she even joked about it.
Yeah.
Which, some people, have to would speak about such things in hushed voices. Like, she's just like, nope, this is what I am. This is it's what I've done. This is who I am and everything. And what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. And she's just so funny about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like 50 pages into the Princess Diarist. I just hit the chapter called Kerosene, so I was just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
do I muddle through? Do I go through, or do I sit and wait for a little bit before reading again?
Yeah. So, she was she was who she was, and she, if you didn't like her, too bad. She'd tell you to F off if you didn't like it. So, she was very,
Yeah, and I found this interview that she did last year, when Force Awakens was doing all the promos and stuff, and it was an interview. I don't remember who the reporter was, but or the whoever it was that she's doing. It was for Good Morning America, and who was it?
Oh no, David Muir was for the ABC Tonight. It was the blonde.
No, this was this was one of the female people. I can't remember what it is. I could look it up again, but anyway, she just the lady had questions to ask her about the movie and the franchise and everything, and Carrie Fisher just she had her dog sitting there, her dog Gary, and she just made all these funny, crazy jokes about all these different things, and the lady interviewing her she couldn't get through the interview like in a professional manner. She just kept laughing at what Carrie had to say, and it was just the funniest thing. And then after they cut to from the taped portion of the show to the live, and all her co-hosts are sitting there just they want to laugh, but they don't want to at the same time because they're trying to be professional. And they're just like, wow, she's just a really funny lady, isn't she? It's like, oh, come on, guys, laugh. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just have permission to.
Yes. And I might link to it on our Facebook page. It's something you have to watch to understand what it is, because she just, oh my gosh, she's larger than life, and she had, and then you could also, I'd also recommend you look up her roast of George Lucas at AFI, when the AFI gave a lifetime achievement to George Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
It is funny as all get out, quite crass, but so funny.
Yeah.
And that's just
even her cameo appearance in the Blues Brothers. I mean, that was her personality. Doing her nails and then going through a bazooka manual.
I think it's helpful that we're sitting here, laughing about her jokes and things that she's done, just because I think that's how she would rather be remembered. I mean, what was her obituary that she wanted to have?
Yeah, because she told this story about when she was talking when they were filming episode 4 in the white dress, the iconic white dress.
I just posted a link to that, actually.
Yeah. I shared it on our Facebook page earlier, But George Lucas apparently told her she couldn't wear a bra under that dress. He said and George told her, because there's no underwear in space. And apparently he explained that if you go into space, you become weightless. And then your body expands, and your bra doesn't, so then you get strangled by your own underwear. So Carrie said that she thinks it would make for a
he said this as if he
obituary.
was an expert on such things. Like he had been to space and and no one was wearing any underwear.
Star Wars clearly takes place in a universe where they have artificial gravity on their spaceships.
I know.
Because it's not floating down the corridors. And if they're not floating down the corridors, then clearly there's artificial gravity and they're not weightless.
Yes, I think George was talking out of his butt.
Yes. He probably just wanted to have her be in a white dress with no bra, would probably be my guess. But I love, what she says in this quote. She says, I tell my younger friends that no matter how I go, I want it reported that I drowned in moonlight, strangled by my own bra.
Well, the good thing is that she had finished all her scenes for episode 8, so...
Yes. Yeah. But apparently her role in episode 8 was a lot bigger than it was in episode 7, so it will probably have repercussions for episode 9. So that's really the only downside, and I feel for the writers that are all going, holy crap, what do we do now? And I hope that they, as much as we, gave them praise for, their attempts at the CG in Rogue One, that, I hope that they find some way to send Leia off and not try to, recreate her. So, if they need to work around some things, kind of like they did with like the last Fast and the Furious with Paul Walker, I think I would be okay with that. But so as far as we know, episode 8 will be, it has to be, it will be it for Leia Organa. So
I just was scrolling through Facebook and I just saw fan art of Kylo Ren crying on his mother's shoulder.
Yeah.
That was rude.
Yeah. I've seen several with Leia with R2D2, because Kenny Baker passed away earlier this year.
Yeah.
So.
And then there was one too that had me tearing up. A picture of Chewie visiting a grave with a picture of Han and a picture of Leia and him bringing flowers. And it's like,
yeah. It just the comments and the tweets, from, people in my own Facebook feed, obviously, people are fans. But then, the people that actually knew her, people like Anthony Daniels and poor Mark Hamill. I can't. Yeah. I just want to give Mark Hamill a hug right now. So, him and Harrison Ford. Yeah, I mean, him and Harrison Ford, those were the people that, they were, it's kind of like Harry Potter, they were the golden trio. So, those are the two people that probably knew her best as far as, Star Wars is concerned. So, it's going to be tough, and, but I think they'll do right by her. So that's the thing. I know Disney and the way they do things, they'll do right by her. So, as best they can. So, but now that I've completely ruined my eye makeup, I probably look like a raccoon now.
That's okay. This is podcasting. It's
you guys can't see me. Strangled by her own bra. That's so.
that was the obituary she wanted, guys. So.
I like it.
Oh, I do have to tell one quick little story.
Oh, yeah.
They just made me think of it. So, I have a little cousin she's older now. She's a teenager. But she was 3. She was the only girl in her family. She had 2 older brothers. Her dad didn't really grow up with girls. He really didn't understand how to really relate to little girls. But he just he's kind of muddling through, doing his best. And she asked him one time to tell her a bedtime story about a princess. He told her the only story about a princess he knew, and that was about Princess Leia. So he told her a bedtime story about Star Wars, and like as far as I know, I haven't seen her in a few years. Princess Leia was her favorite princess. Not princesses and stuff like that. She just always went back to Princess Leia, and I was just like, that made me think of it today, like all these people paying tribute to Carrie Fisher and how they love Princess Leia, General Leia, and all her writing and comedy and different things that she's done. And it's just like, I just always go back to that one. It's like, a little girl bonded with her dad over Princess Leia because that was the only princess he knew about.
Because some of people on our age range, Princess Leia was actually our first princess before Disney princess, besides maybe Snow White or Cinderella.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than we're gonna miss Carrie Fisher a lot.
Mm-hmm. She's now one with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to some happier news.
Well,
maybe.
Yes.
Not to discredit everything we just said, but let's try to brighten things up, maybe just a little. So.
Yeah. Quick bit of housekeeping. Poll is up for the January book club.
Yep.
Choice. Last I checked, River Song was in the lead. And you can go over to the Goodreads and click on the Doctor Who Traveling the Vortex book club and vote. You have till the 31st.
Yep.
Cool. So.
And we do have a convention announcements have started. So.
Yes, we do, and this is actually a lot of fun because FanX started announcing their guests, and they've announced 3. One of them's from The Walking Dead, and I don't know anything about that, so yay for Walking Dead people. But the big ones I'm familiar with are Wallace Shawn, who you may know as Vicini from The Princess Bride, and he's also been in yep, he's that guy, and also he's done voice work in he was in Toy Story as Rex. And then also John Rhys Davies. He's known for a lot of things. He was in Indiana Jones as Sala, and Gimli in Lord of the Rings, and most recently I believe he was in the Chronicles, or the Shannara Chronicles, as King. He was the Elf King in the Shannara Chronicles. So he's done a lot of stuff.
Didn't he voiced
he voiced Aladdin's dad in the 3rd Aladdin movie, Aladdin and the Prince of Thieves. And
he voiced the
rock
trolls in the Frozen storyline for Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time version.
Once Upon a Time, yeah.
That's what it was. He's done a lot of voice work.
Oh, yeah. In
fact, sometimes I used to think that it was Sean Connery doing the voice. Nope, it's John Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
Like for a longest time, I thought it was Sean Connery in Aladdin and the King of Thieves, and nope, I got that wrong. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I don't think he's been to a Salt Lake Comic-Con event. I know he came to FantasyCon the first year that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first and only year, and I didn't make it because I can't remember why. I was out of town. I didn't go to that one, but so yay! If you're in Salt Lake and you're going to FanX in March, you can meet John Rhys Davies and Wallace Shawn and one other guy from The Walking Dead, who I'm sure the Walking Dead fans are really excited about.
I only know who he is because he died this season. So.
Well, there you go. That's why he's coming, because he's
free now.
He has no coming for the show.
Him.
Or he's one of the people that died on The Walking Dead this year. Apparently, people die all the time on The Walking Dead. So.
Yeah, I don't know if he was one of the
shocking.
major
The
ones.
show called Walking Dead, people die.
I know. Imagine that. Oh my. And actually, I think our other piece of news, I think I'm going to hold off and we'll talk about it when we talk about the Christmas special, because they're kind of connected. So we'll hold off on that piece of Doctor Who news. So.
I have another piece of 10 o'clock news that I discovered while scrolling through Tumblr while we were recording just now, which is that Richard Adams, the author of Watership Down, passed today as well.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
Make me read that because of it.
Yeah.
No. But I have Watership Down on my bookshelf. I read it years ago, but
I've never read it. I've heard about it, but never read it. It's one of those, I've heard about that. I should probably read that when I get around to it type things. I guess another piece of housekeeping is new photo challenge. So.
Yep. New year, new month. I think I might just put the Grim Reaper on every day. For 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one is 2016 in pictures. I made sure they were all happy, so hopefully that would help.
Yeah.
Put a little shine to the kind of dark
start the year off right. At least for the first month. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously.
I have one good thing I can put down, and that's that I got married this year.
Well, I definitely know I looked at the list already, and I already know what one of mine absolutely positively is going to be. So, as far as convention photos go, that was my Christmas card this year. So. It's funny because I give it out and like it's two camps where people are like, "Oh, that's awesome," and then there are people are like, "Who is this? Your grandfather?" Because I have no idea who Stan Lee is.
And you're just like, "Give me that."
Yeah, like you don't know who this is. You're not getting your Christmas card. And the people that totally know who Stan Lee is, and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like, I know I'm not gonna be able to top this Christmas card ever. It's all downhill from here. Anyway, well, alrighty. So, one more piece of news, I guess. It's news. It's news for our listeners. Actually, news to you guys as well. So, I have a little Christmas present for us. For you guys. So as of Christmas Day, we are now the proud owners of the FiveishFangirls.com.
Ooh,
as far as,
wow.
Yes. So
wow,
I've got it set up, so we're not going to rebuild the website because I don't have that kind of time right now. But if you type that in, it will take you to our current blog. It just saves you a heck of a lot of typing and a lot of mouthful if you're telling someone where to find us. So now you don't have to go around saying the Fiveish Fangirls podcast.blogspot.com. You can now tell people to go to thefiveishfangirls.com.
Nice. I'll have to remember that when we do the outro and telling people where to find us and junk. Happy Christmas to us.
Yes. So we now own it, so no one else can have it. And what we do with it is yet to be seen. So, but we do own it, so people can. And I've tested it, and Chauncey has tested it. It does work. So,
I just tested it. I just tried now, and I got it.
Yep.
FiveshFangirls.com.
Yep.
Takes to the blog spot.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's okay. That works. Eventually, we'll probably
Eventually, we'll get a fancier looking website, but yeah. So now that when people are going to look for us, it's a lot less to say. And I'm also working on. You will probably see around the first of the year, sometime after the first of the year, some minor changes as far as our brand identity is concerned online as well. So the logo that we've been using has been it has done us well, but it's time for a little bit of change. So you'll be seeing some minor changes, nothing too out there, but just freshening things up.
My dear.
Yes.
It seems not a moment too soon.
So just freshening things up for going into our third would it be our what? We've been doing this 2.5 years, but our 2014, so 2015, our third full year of podcasting. So our third calendar year. Yeah.
I can't believe we've been doing it this long.
Yep. So stay tuned to all the social medias, and hopefully I can transition everything over smoothly enough. So. Excuse me.
Rachel is a professional. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, well. Or at least I have the rest of y'all convinced, so.
Hey, you fooled me, so.
Good. Works for me. So. Oh. Awesome. So that was my Christmas present to you guys. So. It's the little things. But now we can say... It's
exciting, though.
Yeah, we can say we have our own .com now, so...
Exciting. Yep. I like this plan.
All right. Well, with that, I guess I'll pass things over to Mitch for the first Christmas special recap.
Yeah. So, Sensei Christmas Special actually came out a couple days before Christmas on December 23rd. It doesn't really have a plot so much as it's the chronicling like the Sensei's lives are like now that they've become more used to this happening. It covers from like their birthday in August all the way to New Year's. So it's quite fun because they get to experience, like, for their birthday, they get to experience half a dozen different birthday parties around the world instead of, like, just theirs.
Sweet.
And
I like birthday parties.
And one of them is in prison, so she gets to actually gets to have sort of a birthday celebration because of this. So, but yeah, there's not really a plot. It's just sort of fun with like seeing them celebrate and kind of go through their lives as But it's 2 hours, and there's a little bit of talking about the overarching thing with Whispers, the main bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, would you have had to watch the whole series to get it, or could you just like
Probably would have had to. You probably, because there's a lot. There's repercussions from stuff that like happens at the end of season 1.
Okay.
Because one of the characters is he's gay, but he's also like a famous film star in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of season 1, he gets outed. So it's kind of like, so he's dealing with fallout from that and stuff. So.
Okay.
So you probably need to watch
So you
season
probably
1.
should watch the first season if you want to watch the Christmas special.
Okay.
And is there just the one season so far? Or is there a second?
So far, there's just season 1, and then the Christmas special is like
okay.
classed on Netflix as the first episode of season 2. Like it's not at the end of season 1. It's like the beginning of the new season, which the new season is going to drop on May 5th, which is 2 days after my birthday, so I'm considering it a late birthday gift.
Hey, it works.
It's always nice when our fandoms give us birthday gifts.
It's like, I know how I'm celebrating.
Happy for this thing.
Yeah.
You made it just for me.
Looking forward to that.
And it's all on Netflix, right?
It's all on Netflix.
Okay. Easily accessible is always good.
Yes.
As long as you have a Netflix account.
Having to go search things out is a pain.
Yeah. That's putting it mildly.
But yeah, it's all on Netflix, so if anyone wants to watch it,
that's where you can find it.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome stuff.
Was that it?
I think so.
Okay. I know you said it was like a one-off type thing, so.
Yeah, it's just the last 2 hours. A little bit of plot, and it's mostly like just seeing them in their lives, how their lives have been affected by by the events of the first season, kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of. Where are they now?
Yeah. It's more of a where are they now type thing that takes place over the course of a few months.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, it starts with their birthday in August, ends with their New Year's Eve celebrations kind of thing.
Okay.
That's definitely a different way to do a holiday special.
Well, especially where it's on Netflix and it's like, it's like people could turn it on at any time and it's not like, I don't know what I'm saying. I think of like when Fuller House did their season 2, and they have all these different holidays, like I have Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's all in this season.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out beginning of December, but we only got all the holiday episodes in, so it's like you can watch it anytime, just not necessarily on those specific holidays.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a different way of doing the special holiday episodes with Netflix and things, but it seems to work out okay.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. It's in my feed. It's in my feed. I know it's there. I'll get to it eventually.
Like everything else.
Like everything else. I'm like, there's so much pressure to watch everything. Like this Christmas vacation, I'm working on a bunch of cosplay stuff, so I'm not really having a chance to watch anything other than what we're about to talk about here. So, so I haven't even caught the most recent episode of The Librarians yet. So, been way too busy.
Yeah, I need to get to that too.
There's a segue in there somewhere, I think.
Well, when it was on Christmas Day, and we were trying to sort around Christmas.
Yeah. But when it came to the prioritizing of making sure stuff got watched around Christmas, this was high on the list. At least for me it was. So, because it has been way too long since we've had new Doctor Who.
Yes, it was so weird. And I sat down, because I didn't get to watch it until yesterday, because I do have an Apple TV, and I have the iTunes season pass, or I bought it for the Christmas special. So, and like we were all over the place on Christmas, so it was like I wasn't gonna get to watch it anyway. So like I sat down, turned on the Apple TV, and loaded up the episode. I'm like, this is so weird. Like and I had to think back, like the last episode of Doctor Who, that was brand new, was
Christmas of last year.
Like, oh my gosh, that was like forever ago.
I know.
And it was, I just couldn't believe it was on my TV again.
I know.
And then it went away, just as quick as it came back.
I know, and now it's gone again until April, and that's why I skipped the particular piece of news, because along with the Christmas special is we got our first look at season 10 with Pearl Mackie as the new companion. So,
and everything that they're doing, and all her little things like, what's a Dalek? What's a TARDIS? Can I use the toilet?
Yeah.
Like, actually, that's a really important thing to know.
It is. That would be one of my questions. I'd be like, awesome, travels in time and space. By the way, where is the bathroom? And where's the kitchen? Those would be
kitchen.
questions.
Those are my priorities. We'll travel in time and space soon enough.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Moffat did say that Bill would be asking questions that no one has ever asked before. And you may think that maybe those questions were going to be really profound, but no, it's things like, where's the toilet in the TARDIS?
Now they did ask about the kitchen in like 1963. It was the first episode of the Daleks. Ian and Barbara ask, what would we eat? And they have the food machine. So that question has been asked.
Well, yes.
Thing about the toilet, not so much.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously when they give us these little teasers, I mean, that's what they are. Their teasers are like, minute and a half video with snippets from various episodes throughout the season. But just from what I've seen so far, yeah, I think I'm really going to like Bill.
Oh, yes. I'm not even questioning that.
She's got spunk. That I think I'm really gonna like. So that was a nice, added little Christmas present from Moffat and crew and the BBC. And then we got the actual episode itself, the Return of Doctor Mysterio.
Which, a lot of people were, kind of complaining, because Doctor Who fans like to complain.
No.
That, it's, yeah. I know, it's surprising, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's superheroes. Oh, Moffat seems like, it's a cop-out. It's like, actually, it turned out to be more of a spoof of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, straight up a superhero thing. And, like we were watching it, and like Jared, when the doctor gave him the little gemstone, and Jared was like, "Oh, he swallowed it, didn't he?" Before I'd even thought to ask that question, and then it turned out that he did, and it's giving him superpowers and all these different things. And I was just like, how did you figure that out so quick? But he kind of does that. He's like a walking spoiler machine. He doesn't even have to know what the spoilers are, and he'll figure it out. It's ridiculous. You can't take him anywhere. But no, like this episode, all the dialogue was just so... I want to say it was good, but that almost doesn't do it justice. I loved all of it. Like, it was so funny and profound and cute, and it was so enjoyable. And it's just because Doctor Who's been gone for so long, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I've missed all this.
It could be we're starving for Doctor Who, but I mean, it's not my favorite Christmas special. as
no.
far as Christmas specials are concerned, actually, I think The Husbands of River Song is my favorite. But the funny thing is, and we don't realize this until towards the end of the episode, but this takes place right after the Doctor and the River's 24-year date night at the Singing Towers of Delirium has ended. And River has now left to go to the library to go through the events of Silence of the Library. So, now the Doctor has sent River off with that sonic screwdriver, knowing full and well where she's going to go. So he goes and is distracting himself.
I like what Nardole had to say about how it's an ending, but it's also a beginning, because her ending is his beginning of their relationship.
Yeah, and I liked how, I don't know if this was intentional, maybe, but how he said, like, because at first when he said, "Oh, I've been gone a while," it's like, well, yes, you have. We haven't had a season of Doctor Who all year. But it was more, but it was more like he's saying that, he was gone for those 24 years, and so they're using that as a reason of, why he hasn't been around to do what he does for so long. And then they're just like, oh, that's really what you meant, is because, you were with River's song. And then how Lucy, isn't that her name? Lucy Fletcher? And she cottons on, and she's like, what was her name? The question is, where were you? It's what was her name, and just how perceptive she was. And I'm just like, oh, those little, that's such an obvious Moffatism, and I just love it. It's just, I'm like, how do you think of these things, dude?
And the Nardole,
yeah,
I had and explaining it was just like, oh, and I think Nardole will be good for the Doctor, even though the Doctor, I don't know, is 100% sure about it, but
I like
the
Nardole.
Doctor doesn't know what's good for him.
Exactly. Nardole in The Husbands of River Song, he came kind of across this kind of bumbling, fumbling sidekick for River, but he is kind of bumbling and fumbling even now as the Doctor's kind of pseudo companion, but he's not with the Doctor full time, obviously, because he's gone off and apparently ruled over Mesopotamia or something at one point. He's like, I was stern, but ruled fairly.
Well, I mean, he did that when he was couldn't control the TARDIS, so he kind of was all over the place before he finally rescued the Doctor from Harmony Shoal.
Yeah. But Nardole is very perceptive of the Doctor's moods, and the way Doctor is, and I'm sure some of that is from being with the Doctor, and probably also hearing about it from River, as well.
Oh yeah.
So I
knows, maybe he had a sneak peek into her diary.
Yeah, maybe. But I think he's going to be good for the Doctor. It'll be nice when the Doctor gets, we're assuming a full-time companion in Bill, unlike Clara, who would be like, come pick me up, every other Tuesday or whatever. If Bill is full-time and Nardole kind of weaves in and out, it'll be an interesting dynamic, but I think it's going to be good for this specific incarnation of the Doctor, because this Doctor he's a bit more grumpy. He's not the dancing giraffe that Matt Smith's Doctor was.
And he's faced 2 back-to-back pretty big time losses. In a way. Yeah.
Yeah, he lost Clara. He said his goodbye to River, and at the same time that this Doctor also has seen the return of Gallifrey and the Time Lords, and we may
that wasn't the joyous reunion we assumed it was going to be.
Yeah, really. I don't think I ever expected it to be a joyous reunion, though. So. Not with the Time Lords and their way of doing things. There's a reason the Doctor took off in the first place.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, for this, it's a spoof of superheroes, and it's timely though, because I mean the superhero genre is huge right now, so I mean it makes sense for them to jump on that bandwagon, and they even use like the comic book panels, like what we kind of expect to see from the beginning of a Marvel movie
with the phone call.
Yeah. So I mean the Doctor, they have the
I like the superhero thing.
Yeah,
I like the superhero stuff, but then
I did too. It wasn't so. It wasn't like it wasn't. It was there was a superhero. There's this guy that when he was a child, he swallowed this gemstone, and this gemstone apparently gives you the one thing you want most. And this kid was obsessed with comic books, so he becomes a superhero.
I was telling my dad about the Christmas special and that there was a superhero here, and I told him like this called this gemstone and gave him superpowers. Mm-hmm. And my dad's like, "Is it like an infinity stone?"
For all we know, it could be. And it's like, it was kind of funny because the whole time the Doctor's talking to him like, "Oh, I just figured out who Superman is. He's actually Clark Kent." And he's like, "Well, yeah, everybody knows, but and he's like, "Well, Lois Lane doesn't know, and she's a reporter." And, he's like, he's critiquing, the superhero stories, which is what a lot of us, like we do the same thing when we talk about these things, and like, how can she not know, and all those kinds of things. And so it's like,
but then the exact same thing happens in the show itself. This guy is this woman's nanny, and also happens to be a and he wears a mask when he's a superhero, but he wears glasses when he's not when he's himself. So they kind of do that same thing. And even when they're having their date thing, and he goes and takes off his glasses, he's going to tell her exactly who he is. That he's actually, the person that's been taking care of her baby and her nanny. And she doesn't look at him. And he even says, "Well, if you just look up right now," and she doesn't. So it's like,
and then she's like, "Oh, and he never lies to me. And he's so wonderful." And he's like, "Well, I'm kind of lying to you now. Okay, mask goes back on."
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's like it's a loving spoof, I guess, of superhero stories and things like that. And it's, I mean, the Doctor doesn't quite get it, because that's this Doctor's thing, is like he sort of gets it, but not really. He's a little more alien than he has been, and it's like, it's almost like a deconstruction of it, but a loving deconstruction, not one that it's like, "Oh, well, this couldn't happen and this couldn't happen," and it makes you feel dumb for liking this kind of thing. But it just kind of has fun with the genre, and
a little bit of Steve Rogers. I didn't get that reference. I got that reference.
Yep. And it's like, we talk about how Doctor Who can be any genre it wants to be. It could take place anywhere and go any place and do, it could be historical, it can be sci-fi, it can, it's been romance, it's been mystery and these kinds of things. And it's like, why shouldn't they do a superhero story? And, because he swallowed a gemstone because he thought it was cough medicine. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's no sillier than being bit by a radioactive spider.
I know. I like how they made sure to reference a franchise from each of the major comic book houses. So they made sure to mention Superman, so they got DC. They mentioned Spider-Man, so Marvel is covered. So the fanboys of both can be like, "Well, Doctor Who mentioned Marvel, but not DC." They mentioned both, so you're good. And how ridiculous both can be.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad they mentioned Superman and not Batman, because I know this is an unpopular opinion because everybody loves Batman and I like Batman. I like Superman a little bit more. But that's just me. You can like whatever you want.
I don't really care for either. So take away my fangirl card if you want, but
you can like what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of hoping for a Stan Lee reference too, but
yeah. And they made a Pokemon reference.
We busted up laughing when he said I flooded the lobby with Pokemon. And everyone goes running for it.
Oh my goodness. Oh. No. I mean the you almost didn't care about, like, with picking up, and seeing where the Doctor is now in his life, post last Christmas episode. And, we get a simple explanation of how Nardole is with him. Nardole is apparently now more machine than human, but the Doctor was able to reconstruct him a body and attach his head to it. So that's why Nardole is with him. So we get that. And then we have this, this storyline with Grant and, this woman that he nannies for, who also happens to be a reporter and doesn't realize her nanny is a superhero. So kind of poking fun at the whole Lois Lane Clark Kent thing. You almost
and he even wears glasses and he's mild-mannered.
You almost don't care about the fact that there's like an alien invasion. You almost don't care about the plot of the aliens, the bad guys, because everything else is so entertaining. I mean, it's Doctor Who. There's bad guys. There's aliens. They're trying to take over the world. In this case, they're apparently self-aware brains with personalities that can take over a body.
Yeah, brains with eyes. And I was just like, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks, Moffat. One more thing to be afraid of.
Which are
your own brain.
The aliens from Husbands of River Song, because you see it because of the way that they split their heads open.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I didn't think about that till just now.
That was a nice tie-in. We're kind of continuing that.
Yeah, this one's sort of a sequel to Husbands of River Song. I mean, not precisely, but
kind of. Sort of. And they left it open.
If you look at it a certain way.
They left it open at the end to have those aliens come back because we have a unit soldier that is now one of those.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was an episode in season 10 about, oh, by the way, remember that one unit guy? Yeah, those aliens are back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, they
Kate, like, why didn't you tell me this?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd see Kate when the Doctor's like, oh, and there's Unit. I'm like, ooh, are we going to see Kate? No Kate, but they did name drop Osgood, so.
Yes, they did.
I know, I was like, ooh, where's Osgood? Oh, not in this episode. Okay, fine. Although I did have to laugh at the end where, Grant and Lucy have flown off with the spaceship that's about to blow up, and the other guy's still on the rooftop saying, "You think this is over?" And the Doctor goes, "Yep." And he shoots his sonic at him, and he lets go of the gun. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, that's again, deconstructing superhero tropes."
Yep.
That was just so good.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good episode. I had someone comment on my Facebook post when I checked in on Facebook, like, hey, I'm watching the Doctor Who Christmas special. Like, well, it wasn't really Christmassy. And I'm like, well, not all Christmas specials. I mean, Husbands of River Song was not really Christmassy.
No, I mean, there's a bit at the beginning where it's like it's Christmas and there's something.
Christmas specials are just set at Christmas.
Yeah. Not everything has to be Charles Dickens or
Christmassy Christmas special was A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't all have to be real Christmassy, but
the beginning with Little Grant was obviously set at Christmas because Grant thinks the Doctor is Santa.
Yeah.
He's bringing in milk and cookies, and there's the thing that looks like a Christmas tree, and he's setting a trap, and it's like that's all that there really needs to be for Christmas, and it's like it's okay. It's the way it's set up, it's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. Right now the biggest movie that's in theaters is a Star Wars movie. It has nothing to do with Christmas. I mean, I know it's a little different because movies, but it's still like it's still kind of becoming a Christmas tradition as you go see a movie. It doesn't have to have anything to do with Christmas. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that, and I lost the thread. But okay, whatever.
It makes
The
sense.
point is, a Doctor Who Christmas special does not have to be Christmassy. Is the point.
Yes,
Well,
that's what I was getting at.
the point is we got new Doctor Who.
Yes. Yes. That cannot be overstated.
Yeah.
We cannot
I
emphasize this
started
enough.
I started watching it at Christmas, like the Christmas party for like at my aunt and uncle's, because we're still there when it started. So I was like, I was to my cousin, do you have Space Channel? Because the Doctor Who Christmas special is going to start in like 10 minutes. But then we ended up leaving like halfway through it. But then I'd seen enough to know that I was going to buy it. Like I decided I would just buy it on iTunes and watch it when I had time, which I did. So
there you go.
And now I have it on iTunes, and it's good. I can watch it anytime.
There you go. I mean, it's just fun, and I think that's what the Christmas specials are. It's like they're not real heavy, you know. They're not real big on the plot too much. I mean, they're just fun to watch, and it's like, you know, if you're not having fun with this, what's the point? Like, what are you doing? Quite honestly. And it's, you know, Doctor Who's back on for a night, and it just all is right with the world, to quote A Christmas Story. But yeah,
New Doctor Who.
pretty much. I mean, they're just like I said, the dialogue was it was quick and it was witty, and I mean, I don't think there was a
asks like Doctor Who and Grant's like Doctor Mysterio, and that's like so perfect because A, Doctor Who, and B, it calls back to when Grant was a kid and like said, if this were a comic book, you'd be called Doctor Mysterio because.
And he's still got those comic book sensibilities. Like he's still genre savvy about it.
So genre. Well, I mean, him loving comic books so much is why the gemstone gave him superpowers.
I know, it's
like something else.
And it's funny because it's a science-based thing, because a lot of superheroes, you know, it's, you know, radioactive spider, or, you know, some you know, science experiment gone wrong. There's always something based in science, and this one, it's still based in science, but it's like it's a normal kid who, you know, loves comic books, loves superheroes, and he just kind of misunderstands something the Doctor told him. And it's like, it happened more often, because the Doctor is so funny about how, you know, he hands the kid a glass of water, and then he hands him the little gemstone. Of course he's going to think it's a, you know, it makes sense that he would think it's medicine and something to be ingested to take care of his cough.
He even said, well, you said you were a doctor.
Yeah. It's like, none of that doesn't make sense. That all works. And it's like, it's not, it's an honest mistake, but you can understand why he would have made that mistake.
Yeah.
When I love how I have the doctors all like, I'm the Doctor, you know, I'm the original. Everyone else is just copying me, which is, you know, kind of meta in itself, talking about his previous incarnations. But then also, you know, there are lots of other famous doctors in comics out there. There's Doctor Strange, you know, there's Bruce Banner, he's a doctor, so.
Or, you know, it even could go back to, oh crap, I'm blanking on the name of the thing. A Good Man Goes to War, where they talk about, you know, the Doctor means warrior, and, you know, what is that title going to come to mean? And it's like, well, you know, in our world, Doctor means a healer or a wise person.
Like healer and wise man, but because of it originally means healer and wise man because of his travels through time and space, and then his actions since the Time War. It's shifting to mean warrior, like to the people of the Gamma Forest.
Yeah. but now on Earth, when they say, you're a doctor, what, and he says, I'm the original, I'm clever, everybody else is just trying to copy me. And it's like, hey, yeah, that kind of calls back to that idea. I mean, not explicitly, and it's still kind of a funny joke, even if you're not, or don't know that background. But knowing that background kind of adds a layer to it, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Now all we have to do is wait till Easter Sunday or Easter Saturday.
Yeah, that too. Well, at least now we actually have a date. Well, okay, before we did, the date was Christmas, but it doesn't seem
we have a
quite
month.
That far.
We know the month for sure. So we still don't have a date actually. So that hopefully that's coming soon. That we get like full on date, time,
episode titles,
so that sort of thing. So it's
okay.
only...
So you said date, time, and my brain automatically filled in map reference. Which I think date, time, map reference, which is impossible astronaut. Shows you how much a Doctor Who fan I am.
Hey, it works. You're getting back in the swing of things.
Where else would you go with that?
I don't know. You went. Sounds like you went somewhere quite perfect. Anyway, it's just good to have. It's just good to have Doctor Who back on our screens, guys. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I saw it again. I was just like, oh, this is how everything should be. Yeah. I thought I was doing okay without it, but now I'm like, nah, I need it.
Yep. Yep. Pretty much.
Trying to think what else to talk about. Like you said, the villain was almost sort of a footnote, because this story was about this guy being a superhero. I mean, yeah, there's a villain, so the superhero has someone to fight against, but a lot of it was he'd go save kids that were trapped at the top of a Ferris wheel, or he'd go save someone from a burning building, or stop bank robbers and stuff like that. So he was doing those kind of.
The thing is, the Doctor made him promise to use his powers, but then he ended up becoming a superhero anyway and using them, and that kind of makes me think of from Captain America: Civil War, where Peter Parker's like, when you can do the things that you can do, and bad things happen, and you don't do anything, then that's on you, kind of thing. It's not that's but it's so.
I mean, well, yeah, and that's like you said, it's a
responsibility for stopping even bad thing Peter Parker did, and his name is I looked on IMDb, and his name is Grant Gordon, which is like alliteration, like Peter Parker, right?
And that works perfectly.
Which happens often in comic books.
Oh yeah, like even the Big Bang Theory had an episode where they had Stan Lee, and Raj was he supposedly made Stan annoyed that he kept asking, why do you have alliterative names for your characters? And it's like, well, it's because you can remember them. That episode was a while ago. But
that was the one where Sheldon, I think, got the restraining order.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, those guys. But yeah, and I think, don't they in the episode, didn't they? I swear the Doctor or somebody quoted, with great power comes great responsibility. Or am I Grant? Yeah, or Grant. Yeah.
I think it was Grant.
I remember that being quoted. Now I'm not sure
Yeah,
I heard
I'd
it.
have to go back and rewatch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know there's some good lines where I'm like, oh, that was clever, and I've only had a chance to watch it once, so.
Yeah.
I might rewatch it after we finish recording.
Hey, I can think of worse things to do with your time.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh.
Well, my favorite show besides this is Heroes, which is all about people with superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can understand why I would.
This is right in her wheelhouse.
Episode of Doctor. It's like right at the intersection of my interests. I think that means that this is my favorite Christmas special.
I totally understand that. Oh, Doctor Who.
Yeah. So, Return of Doctor Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up, A+, 5 stars, all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we can't wait for April.
Yep. Easter Saturday. So, all right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you, dear listeners, would like to chime in about your thoughts of the Return of Doctor Mysterio or Doctor Who, or even offer your thoughts on any, if you feel so inclined, you can contact us. Our email address is fivishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also go to our website, which is now thefivishfangirls.com. Wow, that was a lot shorter.
I know.
And you can go to our website, and you can find all of our links to all of our social media pages. Facebook is probably the best one to go to because that's where we put news items and things we talk about. But we also post on Twitter, and we have a Tumblr account. We also have Instagram, and our Instagram is quite active. And Pinterest, sometimes we get some stuff there. And our YouTube channel, our podcast episodes go up there. They also go up on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play.
Mm-hmm.
So you can download those at any of those places. Also leave reviews if you feel so inclined. And you can support the show by downloading it off any of the places I mentioned before, or if you feel so inclined to donate financial support, we are on Patreon, and as always, we are very appreciative of our Patreon supporters, and so glad that you are able to support us. So if you haven't, or if you aren't supporting us on Patreon and would like to, you can do so at our Patreon page, and then also our Amazon store, which can be accessed at our aforementioned website, which is thefivishfangirls.com.
Mm-hmm.
And just bookmark it. And I don't know, Christmas is over, but you're probably sitting there going like, I didn't get blank, and you can go, if you have any Christmas money, you can go pick something out for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And you can literally buy anything off of Amazon, and it will count, even if it's not a present. Everything from Doctor Who DVDs to toilet paper, it all counts.
Yes, anything you buy by going through our link, even if you go off that link initially and go searching for something else, it counts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it doesn't cost anything extra, and it's you get whatever merchandise you're going for, and we get a small cut of that, and that helps us with server space and putting the podcast together, having the website and all that other great stuff. So, and y'all are absolutely sweet and hope you all have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and other happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa,
Happy Hanukkah.
whatever you celebrate.
Yep. Y'all, you all, we love you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling so much love. Not that I don't usually, but I'm a little loopy, guys. My brain is out.
Yeah. So, and don't forget to send in your feedback for our 2016 year in review, because that's what we will be doing next. We've had one person send in
I
feedback.
noticed we already got a piece of feedback for that.
Yes,
Woohoo!
we've got one piece of feedback, but we would love to have more. So get that in. You have until January 1st, 2017. So make sure you send that in. It could be a couple of lines. It could be, whatever. So, and,
You could be standing there watching 2016 die at midnight, and you can be sending in a piece of feedback, even if that's all. It was like, this is where I was when 2016 crashed and burned. Finally,
we're not.
I don't know. It seemed kind of dramatic.
Yeah.
if you have a flair for such a thing.
Yes, exactly. So
I've had so many people say, like, that's, I've heard so many people say that's what their plans are for New Year's, and I'm just like, I think I'm starting to agree with you.
Yeah. I had someone post, took a page from Supernatural. It's like, when the New Year hits, take those 2016 calendars, cover them in salt, and burn them.
Yeah.
Cast out the old.
Yes.
Away with the demons.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before, how there's an old folklore where back in the day for New Year's, they would have a broom and they'd be standing at the back door, and they would, when the clock hit midnight, they would sweep out, like, they literally sweep the old year out the door. And I'm like, you know what? I think I might do that this year. Just have a broom and just start sweeping it out. Like, get out. Because it brought good luck or something. I can't remember what it was, but you can probably look that up.
It
somewhere.
sounds good to me. I think I may adopt that practice as well.
Yeah.
Even though we're going to be at someone else's house when the New Year comes in, but can I borrow your broom?
They might appreciate you sweeping the floor.
Yeah, it's true. They may just think I'm being a very nice guest and helping clean up the mess.
Hey, let them think that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm helping you clean up.
Helping you clean up this terrible year.
Yep. So
and whatever dirt is on your floor. I'm sure your floor is very immaculate.
Yeah, just in case. I thought I saw a tiny crumb over there somewhere. Anyway, so that is where we're at. So do not forget feedback for our fandom year in review. That should be interesting. So,
yes. And we'll post reminders on Facebook and such. So mostly Facebook, because that's where I am all day for work, and sometimes I just take a break and post some fun little news items or funny things I find. Like, hey, I think our listeners will enjoy this. So here you go.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, I guess with that, we shall sign off for this week. And actually, technically, we're signing off for the year. So.
Oh, wow, that's true.
Yep.
Anyway,
no pressure to say anything profound now.
Because I have nothing. This is Brittany and Builders saying goodnight. This is Mitch saying goodnight from Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel, currently in South Bend, Indiana. Have a good rest of your holiday season, and here's to 2017.
You have been listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast,
Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by their respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.